This is my student introduction project. My name is Jason Maxwell. My current job title is I'm the manager of interactives for a company called Accelerate Learning. And Accelerate Learning is the makers of STEM Scopes. And STEM Scopes is an online science curriculum that districts and schools can adopt and use in their classrooms to either supplement or serve as their entire science curriculum. Specifically, as the manager for interactives, I oversee the development of all of our instructional technology elements. So videos, games, simulations, ebooks, anything instructional technology related is in our curriculum is sort of under my umbrella. My educational background is I got my K through 12 education in Cypress Fairbanks ISD in Houston, Texas. After that, I went to the University of Houston for 2 years. Then I transferred up to Sam Houston State University in Huntsville for my last 2 years, and I finished out with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and psychology. Personal information about me is I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, but very shortly after my family moved to Houston. So we moved to Houston when I was 2. My father was in the Navy when I was born, and then 2 years later he got out of the Navy and entered the computer industry. So my family, my mom, my dad, and I moved to Houston when I was 2. I have one brother. He and his wife live in Austin, Texas. Professional experience. I have a lot of retail background. I worked as assistant managers and department managers and store managers for Target and for the Vitamin Shop for many years before becoming a teacher. I also have some experience in the banking industry. I was an assistant branch manager and a branch manager for a bank that actually no longer exists. It got absorbed by someone else. I will say that I think my professional experience and my business experience outside of education is a big value to me. If we accept that at least part of the purpose of our educational system is to prepare students to operate in the real world, then I would argue that teachers having experience outside of the sphere of education could be considered a bonus. Eventually, I did make my way into teaching and education. I have 8 years classroom experience. All 8 years I spent in the classroom. I taught at Tips Elementary in Cy-Fair ISD, which is the same school district I attended for my K-12 education. 7 of my 8 years I spent teaching fourth graders, math and science. And then my final year in the classroom, I taught 5th grade science. Tips Elementary is designated as a Title I high-risk, low-income school. So I learned to teach in that environment and all of the challenges that the students and the teachers face in a Title I environment. And I've taught students of every designation and label that we have in American education. I've taught gifted and talented, bilingual, ESL, special ed, and emotionally disturbed students. Professional goals. At this point, since I'm currently working for Accelerate Learning, my primary professional goal is to maintain the quality of the elements in our curriculum that I'm responsible for. Overseeing the instructional technology portion is tricky because it's very easy for technology to kind of go off the rails, off topic, and end up as just simply flashy and fun games rather than something that improves learning and serves the students and the teachers. And so my immediate professional goal is to make sure that any instructional technology elements in our curriculum products stay on track for their intended purpose. Beyond that, I hope to stay in the curriculum and instruction side of education. I have very, very little interest in being an administrator. I don't really want to be an assistant principal or a principal. I love lesson design. I love constructing learning experiences. And so any moves I make within education, I hope to stay on the curriculum and instruction side. Also, instructional technology is sort of my sphere that I like, and so there are plenty of opportunities to help forward and help advance meaningful use of technology in education. speaking specifically to urban education, this is my first class specifically focusing on urban education, so I assume that I will learn a lot more and have a lot more to say after this class. But my experience in teaching and in the business world tells me that every population we deal with faces specific challenges, and so I would assume then that urban education students also have their own specific set of challenges, and those own specific set of challenges will lead to a specific set of needs that need to be fulfilled, and that in turn leads to a specific set of solutions and strategies that we as educators need to bring to bear on the situation. And so, as far as I know at this point, I would approach urban education the same way I would approach any population, and that is that people in urban environments probably have challenges and needs specific to their situation, and that would require solutions and strategies specific to help them be successful.